Okay, I'm gonna draw some live tonight. We're gonna see how this goes. This is kind of an experimental thing. Um, I'm drawing a comic book called The Black Cricket. This is page 12 of chapter 4. I'm drawing, it's the last one of it's the last page of the chapter. There are 12 pages, something along that. Anyway, this is what I'm drawing right here. It's the thumbnail. This is a script written by Dan Johnson. And I've got my page kind of roughed in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a little light. Anyway, I'm going to draw this. Hopefully my head doesn't get too much in the way. If it does, I apologize. So you can see I've kind of got this started here. And so what's happening here is this character called the Black Cricket. He's foiled a robbery. So he's already fought two people, and he's confronting this woman, and this guy peers through the brick. I'm going to Photoshop the brick wall into those two panels. And they fight, and the guy has kind of a intangibility, vibrating power. And so while they're fighting, this girl who is basically surrendering at this point, or she's kind of like, hey, don't hit me. She's gonna reach in. I had her in the thumbnails. I had her reaching in her jacket, but I didn't draw her in a jacket. I drew her in a t-shirt. So I'm gonna draw her kind of reaching into her belt. And she's gonna pull out a taser. Oh, I forgot to get reference on taser. I need to get some reference on taser for that panel. But then she's gonna tase the Black Cricket. So here, let's see. I'm going to enlarge her a little bit. That's a little bit small. The good thing about drawing, I'm drawing with a 2H pencil. It's pretty dark, or pretty light, pretty hard pencil. So I'm drawing light. The good thing is you can draw with it. You can change it. I'm leaving. There's a thought balloon at the top where the Black Cricket is thinking. He's thinking he must have, because when he phased through that Black Cricket's blaster, he kind of killed he's got kind of a sonic weapon, so he kind of killed that. And so I'm going to draw, I'll make her a little bit bigger. But when you draw with a kind of a hard pencil, you can kind of rough it in. And you can see here, I don't know if you can see this because it's pretty light. You can see I'm going to rough it in. The big thing is going to be trying to get this motion, because I want it to look like she's reaching kind of into her waistband, basically. So I got to draw. You can't see it, but I'm doing this motion because I want. Sorry about that. I want this to be like here. I'm going to show her kind of reaching her waistband, and maybe you'll see the handle of the. She's wearing a t-shirt. The robbers are. I want it to be kind of subtle, but where you're like, okay, she's doing something, because I don't show her with her hand raised on the previous page. Anyway, this will be kind of her, kind of smirking or whatever. Kind of flip there. And I'll go over this. This is kind of the first pass. I don't have my taser reference here. I didn't get one. I meant to get one. I'll do it. Let's see. She's holding it with her right hand. So, okay. Sorry. Sometimes when you draw this kind of stuff, you need to think about what's that action like. And I have a toy gun over here I can pick up. I think I got a Nerf gun that probably looks a lot like a taser, but I'm just think about where the knuckles are. So I think they'd be over here. It kind of had the. When you make a fist, the knuckles tend to kind of curve. There, I'm gonna do, some. But I want to maybe put the word taser on it. A1 taser or something. Anyway, that's that. And then so in this panel, she's holding the taser at him. She's like, "Don't move." Oh no, she says, "I got him. I got him." Make it a little bit bigger. I feel like she'd be holding it like way out in front of her. So, probably both hands. So the Black Cricket is a character created by Dan Johnson, and there were a couple of people involved. I apologize, I don't know who they were. One of them was an artist that I think he dropped out of the project. I'm not really sure why, but he just did some roughs, I think, some character designs. But anyway, the Black Cricket is a superhero, kind of in the classic. I'm making it a little taller, a little short there. I don't want him short looking. His shoulder needs to be right there, so to make it work with her. Anyway, the Black Cricket is a superhero. The way I think of him as, like, if you've seen Spider-Man in No Way Home, how he gets, I think it's No Way Home, where Stark gives him this powered Spider-Man suit, does all the crazy stuff. But he's still, it's not his primary thing. That's kind of what the Cricket is. I mean, not that he's got a powered suit, and that's where he gets his powers. But he's also pretty smart and just a pretty tough guy. He grew up kind of a rich kid, and so he kind of trained. He's kind of like, not really like Batman, but kind of Batman-esque. I guess that's probably a good way to put it. That's kind of how I think of him. But he's got this suit. It's not like an armor. It's not like an Iron Man suit, but it's like I said. I think of it as more like the Spider-Man suit. And what's funny is as the strip goes along, or the comic goes along, like Spider-Man, there seems to be more and more little, like, hey, they keep adding gadgets to it, which I like, because it's not a static thing. Of course, Iron Man's like that, but it's not a, I wouldn't call it a powered suit. Even though it is powered, it makes him stronger and some other things, but it's more an aid than, Iron Man suit is almost a sentient thing, Anyway, so here, and so what happens here is the girl zaps him with the taser. So out of that, it's going to like mess up his suit. It kind of short circuits his suit, I guess, if you don't think about that one. So there's kind of a big page. That thing is, I think the Black Cricket is, see his back a lot on this page. Probably not ideal. One of the things when I'm drawing figures is, I'm trying to just draw like a loose, probably too loose in some cases, but I'm trying to draw a loose figure, kind of a boxy thing, and then I'll come back and tighten it up. I'll go over it probably with a eraser. Maybe not, don't always, but I'll probably go back over this with an eraser. And then out of that, I'll like tighten it up. I'm using a wooden pencil now, a wooden drawing pencil, Strathmore, or Stanley Mars Lumographic, which I've been drawing with forever. But there's some others I like. But typically, I don't use a wooden pencil. Banana food looking, which I don't really want. There. But I'm really enjoying working on the Black Cricket. It's, to me, the comic that it reminds me of kind of the most is an the old Nova series from like I think it was the 70s. But Richard Rider, and he gets the Nova helmet. He's done all kinds of stuff with it, and it's just kind of a, which I think when Marvel did Nova, whatever year that was in the 70s, it's very obvious when you read those, they were trying to replicate the Spider-Man thing, and the writer at Black Cricket is very influenced by Ditko. But he doesn't want to just do like, hey, it's Bugman. I mean, he's named after a bug, but it's not like, oh, my powers are rubbing my legs together. He don't really have superpowers. I mean, there are people in this universe that have superpowers, but I think they're all like tech kind of stuff. It's almost like a sci-fi kind of thing, which I'm okay with. Either way, it's fine by me. I'm a big superhero fan, and so if it was just like a straight, superhero where he's got powers, that would be okay by me. That would, if I was writing it, that'd probably be what I'd pursue. But like I said, they had the character in place, and I like the character. And I like his design. He's got kind of this black suit with this kind of shoulder pad thing. Anyway, kind of experiment with doing some live streams. I do a live stream with my friend Ellis every Thursday night on his channel, and I've been posting those. I'm trying to create more content for my channel. I did a video that got a lot of views about. It was called "Why I'll Never Work for Marvel Comics," and I took a lot of heat from that because people said, "Well, no, you're a comic creator. You'll work from," and by my own admission, I love Marvel Comics, or I loved Marvel Comics growing up. And and I've met a lot of people that work at Marvel Comics, and I'm friends with some people that work there. But I mean, I just don't think I have like a really good day job, and so, but it's kind of stressful. I'm responsible for a lot of stuff, and so, to me, coming home and drawing comics is a relaxing pleasure. This is an indulgent thing. It's like I don't have to be out doing other things. I don't have other responsibilities or some of the things that other people have. Because you always hear about people that break into comics and they're like either students or they're delivering pizza or something. They don't really have any responsibilities. Not quite like that. I got a day job, but I do have the luxury to spend my free time how I want to, for the most part. I mean, nobody's perfectly. Well, I got a friend that is, but other than my friend, nobody is perfectly free of responsibilities. So I need to draw an electrical. I want to draw like the old Zap comics where it's like, really. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Let me think about that for a second. That would be cool to put a real cartoony style thing on it. Where it's. I don't know if you've ever seen the old Zap comics where it's like a literal, I mean, that might be cool to do like that, and then do a path, and then do a really sawtooth kind of thing. I don't know. If I was smart, I'd look and steal something somebody else did, but I've got a comic on my desk that kind of has it kind of looks pretty good. Maybe I should steal that. I got this comic on my desk. I've had this since I was a kid. And I love that. I mean, and what's funny is one of the YouTubers was chastising. This is 193. I think he was like making fun of like 180 something. But I love this. The layouts are by Keith Pollard and the finishes by Jim Mooney. I love Jim Mooney. He drew Supergirl in the 50s, which if you look at it, is just really nice looking drawings. But I kind of just love the way this is. And I mean, if you look at it, oh, I'm not drawing. I said I'd draw. Some of this stuff, like Spider-Man's going in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which if you've ever been there, it looks a lot like this. stealing the Egyptian antiquities. I'm coming in all ads. You know, King Tut exhibit. And then they go out and they're fighting in the snow. You know, it's just well drawn and well done. It's not really flashy. When I was a kid, I don't know if I would have read that kind of stuff. I mean, I had it, so always I did, but that wasn't I didn't go, man, Keith Pollard is the greatest. But you know, that's okay. But I grew up. If you ever watched the channel with me and Ellis, or really seen anything of mine, you'll know I grew up as a big John Byrne fan. And John Byrne is kind of the guy that. But I've learned to appreciate other artists too and other creators for some of the things that they do, different than what John Byrne does. You know, and John Byrne is kind of in a lot of quarters. Or a lot of corners, whatever the saying is. He's kind of vilified. I'm on his forum. You know, I have gone on my way not to argue with the guy, but I think it's apparent that were we to hang out, we probably wouldn't get along too much. I don't know. It kind of depends. Some of the stuff we disagree on. When I grew up, you didn't talk about different, you know, politics. Basically, politics or religion. You didn't talk about that in polite society. But now we've gotten to where it's like, oh, if you don't agree with me, then you're dead to me or whatever. And anyway, oh well, I'll stop there before I get myself in trouble. So, so she pulls out the taser. I said blaster. Taser. Shoots the cricket, or threatens him basically. Shoots him, and then he's laying down in the thing. And so again, I think, golly, he is. We see his back in every panel. This is a horrible idea. Probably shouldn't do it like this. Anyway, here it basically zaps him and knocks him unconscious. So then this guy, what's his name? Faze. He's Faze. Faze is gonna. So in this panel, like the black cricket is out cold. He's sprawled out there again. I mean, you see his back. This panel is going to live or die on the top-down perspective that I'm giving it, which I think I can pull off. Give me a little more torso. When you rough in these things like this, again, I'm using it like a 2H pencil, so it's pretty light, and I'll go over it with an eraser before I start my final thing of pencils. But this is really quick. I did this I finished page 11 yesterday or last night, and then I started on this one. So I don't have a lot of time. I only have about an hour every night to draw after work. I draw from usually 7 to 8 Central Standard Time. If you're not, I don't know who is watching. There's 2 people watching. Sorry, I had to do that so I could see the number. Anyway, thank you for watching, whoever you are. I appreciate it. I think watching somebody draw I think it's interesting, but I can see how for a lot of people it's kind of boring. But if you're an artist, I think you can get something out of seeing people draw. So, like I said, this panel is going to live or die by that top-down perspective that I'm trying to give it, and by increasing him, I've managed to get the camera, get them closer to the camera. I kind of was going to do it pulled out a little bit, but I think this is where I want to be. So this is her, and when you're foreshortening, and this is really rough, but you do like in this case, I'll do the head, and then I think of all the limbs and the forms as like cylinders, you know, so like here's her shoulder, and you know she's wearing a t-shirt, so there's the t-shirt. So I'll do like the forearm right there, and then I'll do like this, and I'm going to show the gun maybe with like the leads. Did you have to pull them out? Or so I see on YouTube. Her right there. And so this is going to be this phase dude who I wanted to be kind of scary because if you didn't see it in the page before, he kind of popped through this wall and grabbed Black Cricket, which is kind of a scary thing to do. I just like the idea of him like coming through the wall behind the guy. So this is going to be him. I want him kind of crouching over and like, you know, kind of, yes, we've got him. Let's see, in terms like this. And you know what's funny? I talked about foreshortening. Sometimes if you get stuck, I got an action figure that make these little gray things, but I've had this one for years. I mean, it was new when I bought it at Toys R Us. I think I had it since the '90s maybe, and I specifically bought it, and so it's helpful. You can kind of, if you want to do like, it's because I wanted to be kind of crouching over. And I mean, I don't do this a lot, but like on a downshot, it might be helpful because that's kind of what I wanted to look like. So I can look at it and see like, okay, his head might be like right here. Maybe I'll do like his torso here, or his upper body there, and then I'll say like, well, okay, you'll see a little bit of his buttocks, a little bit of that, and then maybe like his foot actually goes off that page, and then this one I'll do like there, and do a little bit, you know. And do his arm. And I wanted him to be like reaching out because he's going to. So the idea is he's gonna reach. He's gonna use his, since his phase power kind of disabled his suit. He's gonna like basically use his phase power on him. So I want him to be. So I want this kind of grasping thing, like, you know, yes, you're in my grip now. And I want to, and I'm trying to draw these characters bigger so that they look like they're over him. I don't know if I've successfully done it. I think his head's a little big. Yeah, that's probably better. And of course, the Black Cricket has this great kind of chest piece that kind of wraps around. I was thinking, I don't know if Dan's watching. I was thinking he looks like Kiss, the band Kiss. You know, he's got this chest piece, which is probably not what Dan wants, but that's okay. Dan will live. That's just how I think of it, though, is like a big, and in the story, like all kinds of stuff is like popped out of the chest piece that he's used for different things, which is cool because it's like, hey, I got this. At one point, he needed an oxygen mask, and so he kind of pulled a panel open in his chest piece. It kind of gives him something where he can like store stuff, which I like that because he's wearing a suit. But he's not like Iron Man, where it's this big bulky suit. You know. I'm taking off. You know what? There's this. I got it. I drew him. I never really planned this out. I drew him with shoulder straps, like he's wearing a backpack. I'm gonna put a backpack on him, even though that's not really called for in the script. Maybe it could be like a battery pack or something for his power. I want to draw it real bulky. If you're a superhero backpack, would be handy though. Anyway, I'm taking off my day job. Memorial Day, not Memorial Day, Memorial Day week. They're kind of changing our vacation around, and so I have a bunch of time. I won't lose it. I'll get paid for it, but I don't want to get paid. I want to miss work. So I'm going to take like an artist holiday kind of. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to go around town and draw, hang out. I make a little mall and hang out during the day. It'll be, I don't know, I guess the kids will be out of school, so who knows what it'll be like at the mall. I don't like that. I'll erase that. I don't like, it doesn't get across the stance that I wanted. I want it to be more, I need to draw it kind of out to the side a little bit. But this is why you do this stuff. I mean, you can see I've been drawing for about, I don't know, 30 minutes or whatever. So I want it to be like that. at least out to the side. It gives it more of a menacing. Again, I don't want him standing straight upright. So I've got him there. He's there. Okay, so now in this panel, he is he's got his, so now what's going on is he's got his fist here. It's gonna vibrate, which I gotta figure out how to do that. Again, you know, a special effect, which I like drawing special effects, but they can be challenging. Which challenging is good. I like challenging. Again, I mean, if you're like me, you know, I'm not drawing this. I mean, I had no aspirations about, or no illusions about, you know, what this is going to end up. You know, I mean, I'm hoping it gets published. We have a publisher lined up for it. Or we'll say tentatively lined up. But I mean, my last deal, I had a publisher. I had, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, this book is going to be great, and it really kind of sank. You know, I don't want to go into too many details because it's too painful. But yeah, it didn't do, and I thought it would like really, you know, I thought the idea was clever, and you know, the publisher was kind of at first they seemed really behind it, but man, we'll get everything done and then put it out. They just were like, and they did it, but I could tell it was very reluctantly, which was very disappointing, you know, because you put your heart and soul into something like this, and then it's like, you know, I don't know, you know, and the bad thing was the publisher was on the rise, and I think COVID really took the wind out of their sails. If COVID hadn't happened, I think my other comic would have done pretty well. I think the publisher would have been willing to put more into supporting it or whatever. Not that they did bad. I just realized I made this too big. Let's see, what does that affect? It affects me right. Okay. I can draw this line. This is the beauty of a live stream. Doesn't affect much. Ooh, this is. Hey, you know what? It cuts off the live area cuts off the offending leg. That's good. Yeah, you can see I'm gonna lose. That's okay. I don't mind that. Somehow I just forgot to draw that last little bit. So if you're drawing, this is it's a Strathmore template. I don't really draw it. This is not really Strathmore paper. This is really like some cheap paper I bought off Amazon, but it's really smooth and it feels like a lightweight Bristol board, which I like. And then I just printed the grid on it. I've got the file for the grid, for the Strathmore grid. And so, but when you do this, you got to go to the live area. This is made for like a full bleed comic, which I don't know if we're going to be full bleed, but but if you don't go full bleed, it screws up these. If you go full bleed, so you still want to draw in the live area, but anyway, I didn't draw that line on there. Sorry. Great live stream. Anyway, so it's kind of cool. That actually makes that look better, I think. So here he's got his fist. Let's see, how's he do? He's gonna hold it like towards the audience. So it's gonna be like here. I don't know if I made the shot. I apologize if I mean. Oh, that's not right. I was like, what's wrong with that? I drew that wrong. Yeah, it's completely backwards. Live stream. Sorry about that. Again, you go back to this idea of you got to draw loose. Anyway, so I was reading that all the Red Lobsters are going out of business, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I hadn't eaten a Red Lobster in years, but man, we used to eat there that was like our go-to place when we had something, quote, fancy to like celebrate, like an anniversary or something. I thought it was great seafood before I ever went to a coast. I live in Oklahoma, so, you know, I'm not the best judge of seafood. Certainly before when my wife and I were too poor to travel, but it was always the place we went to. And it was kind of anyway, sad. I read a book recently, or actually I listened to an audiobook recently called Last Night at the Red Lobster. And it's literally about a guy that works the last night at the Red Lobster and all the travails of what he's going through on that last night. Okay, that panel's ready-ish. Okay, so I'm not done with this page. Obviously, I'm going to go back over it, but that panel's... And I need to do something for the effect here. I don't know if I'm going to do... It's a vibrating effect. I don't know. Let me see. I could do like a... I think that's what I'll do, kind of a broken line around it. But I'll do it, I'll draw the hand and then I'll duplicate. And when I draw it, I'll draw it kind of thin so it looks like it doesn't look like it's vibrating. In fact, you know what? I'll do that panel first. Because I can. So this is easy. So this is kind of my final pass on this. Rolling over it with a knead eraser, get up all the loose lead or anything that might be too crazy. And I need to get a reference for that. Okay. Anyway, I'm using for most of this a 0.5. I have a couple that I use. I like the Pentel 200 series, 205, 207, 209, 203. The 3 indicates, or this 5 or whatever, indicates the lead size, whether it's a 0.3 mechanical pencil or a 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. For my comics, now this page is smaller than a regular comic page. I'm drawing it at 80%, and I like that because it's very easy for me to wield it, move it around, control it, versus like 11 by 17. And plus I have a bunch of envelopes this will fit in. It's like, I think it ends up being like 14 metric. Yeah, it's like 13 and a half, which I used to draw all my comics at 13 and a half. I'm not really sure why. It was something I started doing when years ago, like in the 2000s, when I was really actively trying to break into comics, which is funny. Well, it's funny for a lot of reasons. But yeah, in the 2000s, I was submitting a lot of stuff to Marvel. And I did DC too, but I didn't. I mean, back then, and this was in the early 2000s, I was mailing stuff off, which is great. I love mailing stuff off because I had a whole. I draw the samples, and I had a whole system for. I kept databases of editors and what books they worked on, and you could with I think it's Microsoft Word. You could set up a database, and then you could set up a letter, like a form letter, but it depending on how you did it, it had all the addresses and stuff in it. It would fill in it's like almost like you put like a variable, like X, dear X, and I would fill it. And if you were careful about how you did your databases, I thought it was pretty slick. And I enjoyed doing that. I would do that. I thought the process was cool, and it was one of those tasks that you do that kind of fills you with, I don't know if it's optimism or what, but it's like, yeah, one of these guys or girls could pick me, and it would change my life, because then I could quit my job and I could draw comics for a living, which at the time seemed, well, I didn't like my job at the time. Which is funny because I still work at the same place. I work at the same place ever since I got out of art school. But it's just that my job has changed. Also, I kind of realized how fortunate I am to work there in terms of like being treated well by the company, and my boss thinks I'm pretty good, and everybody's happy with me, or seems to be. So and I've, you know, I've won some awards and stuff, so it's not just me going, oh yeah, everybody likes me, but I guess, I mean, I refer to myself as an art director, but it's not really my title because we don't really have that title at my work. I'm a leader, but I'm over our sculpting, our tool and die, and our 3D department. Which, what that means is I'm over. Well, I mean, sculpting and 3D is fairly self-explanatory. Tool and die just is. It is a. It's where you. It's like metals. I work at a place that makes awards, but it's a big company. I mean, it's like an $80 million a year company. So it's not like a little mom and pop trophy shop. You know, it's something that it's someplace that, you know, there's a lot of people that work there. But and then I also am kind of my title on my email is art coordinator because I assign people work and I kind of look over their art. I'm supposed to kind of make sure everything's flowing smooth. I write a lot of emails and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so when I was doing the comics or doing the submissions, I would mail all this stuff off, and I know I've got some comments. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Chuck. I should be wearing headphones. I'm sorry that you can't hear me. Um, yeah, okay, perspective. You talked about perspective. Let me show. I do use perspective grids. I just didn't on this page because there's no backgrounds. Um, so you can kind of see them here on this page. Going, this is like a 1 point perspective. This is a 1 point perspective, and you can see those faint lines there. It's because I've erased over them. Here's a good one. It's 1 point. It kind of goes down. The 1 point is like down here. I have a tool that I can use. Sorry, I apologize. I was mumbling. So I have a tool that I use called a drafting machine. I'm gonna show it here in a second, but I gotta pull some stuff off so it's like this. Hang on, I'm moving paperwork. So the drafting machine, I'll show this, and then I may stop because. Okay, I'm gonna take this out. Let's see this. So you can see this. So the drafting machine is this. Okay. It's got a hub that turns. I'm trying this one-handed. And so what you do, hang on, I'll give a little demonstration of this real quick. Since you're talking about perspective. And like I said, I would have drawn perspective on this page, but there was not really a background to speak of. But let's see, let me find a different piece of paper. I'll show how this thing works. And it doesn't matter. You don't need one of these. This will work. I'll show them the back on these pieces. This is regular Bristol board. So you can take this, and I'm not going to tape it down, but so if you want to draw, so what this does, what the drafting machine does, sorry, I got to unlatch everything. It moves. Okay, so if you want to draw, you can come in here. So if you want to draw a cityscape, and again, I'm not taping the thing down. You draw like this will draw, and this keeps your, it's locked. As long as this is locked, these won't move. These won't rotate. So you can draw. Make sure you're getting that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that because it's light pencil. Okay, so and then you want to put in your horizon line. Okay, so then what you do is you lock this thing and you loosen the hub so it'll rotate, and then you can do this And this, the hub acts as like your vanishing point. And the machine's not made for this. It's made for drafting, but nobody uses, I mean, people don't draft on paper anymore. Somebody uses these, but they're great for this. I saw it from John Byrne. John Byrne had one, and then I was given one by somebody that really didn't know what they had, or didn't know, they weren't going to, they didn't draw comics, so they didn't care. But so, and depending where you put this, I'll move it out here so you can see that. Let's see. So now I've got this, I've turned it over because now this will represent the perspective, the vanishing point the other way. Okay, so so now when you're done, let me get this out of the way. When you're done, see, you can do this, and this can be, let me get darker pencil so you see it. This could be like a, oh, it's not sharpened. Hang on just a second. Okay, so this could be like a living room, for example, and so you oops, sorry about that. I'm drawing kind of an awkward angle, but see, so you know, that's the back wall, and then there, and then there, you know, and then you could put like a table here, you know, and everything would go, I don't know, maybe like a coffee table, there was like a TV on the wall, maybe there's a door here, and like a window out to a balcony, and there's buildings in the background or whatever. But the drafting machine, or it just allows you to put that down quickly, but really you don't need one if you understand how perspective works. And I don't know, I just glanced at your comment, but so you know, there are a couple things about perspective, depending on, like, if it's well, the most important part of perspective is a horizon line, and that's kind of and some books will call it the horizon line, some books will call it the eye line, but if you're looking at a picture, let's figure out a picture, book with a picture or something real quick. Hang on just a second. Okay, this will work. I got a book on Times Square here. So I got this book on Times Square, right? Well, so this will work. So this picture of Times Square. Okay, so the picture of Times Square. What you need to know, if you want to draw this, so what you would do is the first thing you'll find is your horizon line, and so what you look for is where the horizon line is, where everything converges. So like in this, you can kind of look and see, like, okay, that comes down to there, comes down there, you know, this comes down to here. So, and you can kind of see it, that everything goes to right there. So your horizon in this picture is right here. Okay. So if I was drawing this, let me put this up here. So if I was drawing, say if I wanted to duplicate that drawing of Times Square, I would start by putting my horizon line on there. Okay, now that was, everything kind of went to that. So this is 1 point perspective. So then you can come in and do, like, we'll do some vertical guidelines, and these may not be straight because I'm freehanding them, which is what I'm getting at. I would use, if you were doing I would use like a T-square or rulers or something so that they were straight. But I mean, this is, I think, passable. You may disagree. So then you want to find, that was 1 point. And so you want to find where it all, and we'll say it all converged right there. That was kind of that point I showed in the picture. So then everything goes to that. So if you were drawing that, you come over here and you go, well, here is that glass building right there. And maybe, and then you kind of want to, and when I'm drawing like a city scene, I'll always kind of come and go like, well, okay, here's where like the road goes. And then maybe like over here, say the road goes right here. So this side is kind of closer. So you draw like this, and then like the glass building, if you're gonna draw the windows, you know, you would, and I'd measure some of this, but you're drawing. So there's that, and then maybe there's like a road over here. So the roads are all everything that is like in perspective, like a 1 point perspective. Everything is like this goes towards perspective. So like the lines of the windows, they all go towards the vanishing point. But the stuff like this and like this are straight. So the road. So say there's a road like right here, and there's like another building here. And then maybe it's, like this, and then maybe like the Times Square sign is like, or the whatever that pillar is, it's like right here. And then over here you draw, say like this is the sidewalk, and maybe there's a building here. And you kind of, well, it's crooked, sorry about that, but you kind of, everything goes towards the vanish. You have to know where the horizon line is, the vanishing point. Now here's the other thing about about perspective that it took me a while to figure out. I was lucky, my cousin told me how perspective worked when I was a little kid, but it took me a while to catch on some of the nuances. So say we want to put people in this picture, and so what you want to do is they're all on the horizon line. Now I'm not saying they're walking on the horizon line. What I'm saying is, like, say if you got a guy walking down the street, and we'll say you go, okay, the horizon line is going to hit him chin level. So this is him. He's going to be a stick guy. He's walking down the street. Okay, that's him. Okay, now, but say you want to draw a guy over here, and you don't want him to look giant. So what you do is you look at where the horizon line hits him, and we'll assume they're both the same size. So, like here, this guy, the horizon line hit him at chin level. So this guy hit at chin level. So you draw this guy. Again, this is rough, but so you draw this guy. So that's how you, and you can build from that. So there's a guy, say there's a woman walking behind this guy. Maybe she's a little shorter than him. So maybe it hits her like, mouth level, and let's say she's in the 50s, so she's wearing a dress. She's walking. And then maybe there's a guy over here, and he's kind of standing against the wall here. And maybe he's a little bit taller than that guy. So you put his chin a little bit. But the horizon line is what measures all this stuff. Again, that's kind of, but that's the value of the horizon line. But so your perspective, and so that's kind of, anyway, I don't know if that was helpful. I didn't plan on talking about that, but anyway, that seemed like it was something you were talking about. Drawing figures in a comic panel. I don't know how to fit the figures in the panel. Yes, that can be a problem. Well, you saw me, if you were watching, you saw me earlier. I would say if you're having trouble fitting figures in a panel, I mean, and mine are sticking out all over. I don't think, but you have to draw, you have to get like like a mannequin figure is what I would call it in your head. And I kind of, so what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to draw something. It doesn't have to be real detailed. Something, and I got some YouTube shorts that talk about like how to draw the figure. But something like that, and some arm. And again, this is really quick. But, and not showing you this show great, but if you look, so like, if you look at like the proportions, so this is that. So the crotch is about halfway. So if you want to put, if you got a panel, you want to put a figure in it, what you can do is you can draw a line. You can say, I want him like here, and then figure out where the halfway point is, and then know, well, like, okay, then I got to draw a box for his hips and a box for his torso, and then his head. I don't know if you can't even see that. And then, his arms. And so draw the box and then draw kind of a stick figure. This is where you got to work loose and build up. You don't want to start like at this. You want to, I mean, you can see like her, and if you were watching, I erased her and enlarged her because I thought she was a little small for the panel. I wanted the panel to be kind of filled with her. But Anyway, okay, I think I'm gonna stop. I've been going for 50 minutes. It's amazing. Thank you for everybody that watched. I don't know if I showed 2 people watching. Thank you very much. Thank you for your questions. I'm sorry I couldn't see the thing, and I apologize. I will wear my headphones next time I do this. This is my first attempt at a live stream, but thank you very much. You all have a good evening and a great day tomorrow. Good night.